Hello everyone and welcome to the ECSC Sailing Club annual prize giving for 2020. For 1 year only, I hope, the format of the prize giving is a virtual one. We have stitched together a number of segments without regard for continuity. The club can't afford to employ a continuity editor. Indeed, the club doesn't employ anyone. The running and maintenance of the club and various programmes for sailing and fishing is entirely undertaken by volunteers, who freely give up their time and expertise to help others enjoy the club. Sadly, this year I can't mention the social or cruising programmes because we took the decision this year to cancel them early on in the pandemic. Nevertheless, some individual cruises went on, and more of that later. There are some positives to this virtual format. For example, we're not constrained by the limitations of a podium. We can bring you our contributions on location, at home, as here, my boat Gia. I did brief the presenters to dress appropriately. In this case, I'm wearing my life jacket, which I always do when rowing to and from the boat and when underway. Ask me why when you have the inclination to listen to a cautionary tale. I digress. Now it's time for our next segment in this virtual prize giving.
Commodore, fellow sailors, good evening. When last March a UK-wide partial lockdown to contain the COVID-19 virus was announced, the brakes came on hard on any activity afloat, let alone racing. Aspirations towards opening the season on the 2nd of April, followed by spring, midsummer and late summer series, grounded with a bump. Prospects for any form of boating look bleak. However, protocols for protecting crews, race officials and other mariners from the pandemic were established. Not everybody could meet the social distancing requirements, but some market research indicated that with the support of Cal's Corinthian Yacht Club, there was sufficient interest to proceed. On the 6th of August, we were able to start a 5-race Thursday evening series, and this was followed in September by 6 Sunday brunch races. To meet strict risk assessment criteria, reflecting in particular the COVID-19 hazards for the race team, support crew, and our core rescue services, sailing had to be conservative in terms of the weather limits. Courses had to maintain line of sight communications with the race box. And with a maximum number of 3 race officers, we were able to offer only 1 start and 1 course per event. Now, this was not ideal, with average boat speeds varying from just under 5 knots down to 2.5 knots for some family cruisers. And to enable the slower boats to finish before sunset, the leaders were crossing the line after as little as 45 minutes sailing. I'm grateful that most competitors seem to understand the race team's challenges, and they appeared happy just to get afloat and perhaps have an early beer. In the end, the 2020 Thursday evening series was achieved with no abandonments. 22 boats competed in 1 or more races, thanks largely to an excellent turnout from Cal's Corinthian Yacht Club. 5 boats entered 4 or more races, 10, 2 or less. The number of starters varied between 7 and 16. The podium for the series was dominated by boats that competed in 4 or more of the 5 races, so that shows diligence pays. And now to the awards. First, the 2020 Thursday evening series. In 3rd place was Luke Goodall in his Hunter Sonata Wasp with 17 points. In 2nd place in their Flying 15 for Vida, Lisa and Roger Guy with 10 points. And in 1st place, the Saunders family and friends in the Corby 45 in Sizer with 8 points. Prizes for individual races are awarded as follows. Race 1. In Sizer, Race 2, Incisor. Race 3, Flying 15, Fox Force 5, sailed by John Corby. Race 4, Favida, Lisa and Roger Guy. And race 5, Lisa and Roger Guy in Favida. Now, turning to the increasingly popular Sunday Brunch series, 15 boats sailed in one or more races on a Sunday morning. 3 completed all 4 races. 7 boats only made it to the start on 1 occasion. Largest number of Sunday competitors was 11, and the smallest 5. And again, diligence and consistency was the key to success. Prizes are awarded as follows. In 3rd place, Alan Bird in his Colvick UFO Silverbird. Dave Casson was 2nd with Springtide, and in 1st place for the Sunday Brunch series, Incisor. So well done, everybody concerned. Our race winners for the Sunday Brunch series were race 1, Incisor, race 2, Favida, race 3, Incisor. Race 4 and 5 were abandoned because of very strong winds. Race 6, Favida. So, the lesson here is it doesn't matter if you have the largest boat or one of the smallest, you still have a chance of winning. I should like to conclude by paying tribute to our Rear Commodore Sailing John Garlick, supported hugely by his wife Susan. As many of you know, John's been struggling with serious health issues for some time. Though he had to officially step back from club duties this year, whenever numerous hospital appointments allowed, he was present around the race box during evening racing to provide valuable advice. And against all the odds, John was able to act as PRO for the first 3 of our Sunday Brunch races before he was again admitted to hospital for a bone marrow transplant. I'm pleased to say that John battles on valiantly and enjoys keeping an eye on us through WhatsApp. We are all inspired by his positive attitude and the example he sets in terms of cheerfulness and absolute refusal to give in. All our thoughts and very best wishes go to you both. And with that, I hand back to the Commodore.
All right. Okay. So, Richard, how's the fishing doing?
Fishing's good. Fishing is excellent.
How's it been this season?
It's been brilliant. The guys have all enjoyed it. It's been great. Plenty of fish were caught. Not too many on my boat, but plenty of fish were caught amongst all the other boys.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. So, last fishing competition, how's that gone?
That was good. That was really good. Dave Aybrook caught a cod. So he's up on the game with the cod. I spent all day on my boat and caught a dogfish. Mike caught a few bits and pieces. There was a few of us out. Womble was out, Mike Harvey was out, I was out, Dave Aybrook, Paul Hippolyte, Chris Kershaw, the treasurer,
I know, he kept
secretary, the secretary came with us.
Yeah.
Chris absolutely loved fishing and he enjoyed every minute of it. And so no, it's just great days.
So what's the next one? The November one? What's that going to be about?
That's cod, fishing for cod and heaviest fish. So.
Okay, now your prize winner. Who's your prize winner?
Yeah, we've got a prize winner who's Gabby, Gabby Hippolyte. She caught a biggest bream. It's about 1.5 pound bream. Might have been a bit bigger than that. But no, we're gonna sort Gabby out a prize.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
thanks very much, Richard.
She's a youngster and
yeah.
She's up and coming fishing.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which is good. Very good.
And now it's time for the Dropped Rollock Award. This award is an annual one presented to the member who accidentally makes the most amazing blunder, mistake or is engaged in some humorous incident or other. Well, being a virtual prize giving and needing visuals, we don't have a picture of John Barnes sitting on the Harbour Master's groin, but we do have one of David Tebay diving in after his dinghy. So David, you are the awardee of the Dropped Log Award. At this juncture, it's time to award the prize for the best cruising log. I know of a few cruises this year. Simon King struck out from Portland in his pocket cruiser Kookaburra. Gina spent a quiet week in Emsworth Yacht Harbour. Jane and Peter took their new for them Moody 33 out of the Solent for the first time and experienced lots of adventures. John and Esme, fellow Sea Dog owners, went west to the Helford River in their Sea Dog spinner. But our prize winner is Michael Pallett. He took part in the Mayflower 400 rally to Plymouth, along with skipper Jeff Taylor and fellow crew member Graham Tracy, who had more than a hand in organising the rally. The log is reprinted in the club's autumn newsletter, due out shortly. In this segment, I'd like to acknowledge services to the club. The Lowen Trophy is not being awarded this year, but I'd like to acknowledge one member in particular who stepped in when the club was closed at the start of the lockdown on March the 23rd. Members were understandably worried about their boats moored on club moorings. Fortunately, Peter Ball lives in one of the cottages at the back of the club and could visit the club without breaking any of the provisions of the lockdown. We made it known that he would make regular visits to check mooring lines and would take requests to pump out boats, members' boats, etc. On some visits, he took videos of the state of the yard and the moorings. Perry distributed the videos to members of his Wednesday Club mailing list. On behalf of the club, my thanks go to Peter Ball, who kept up his visits until we opened up the club when the Harbour Master opened up the river in May. Thank you for viewing. This is the end of our all too brief virtual prize giving. Thank you to those who took part. Thank you to the Sailing Subcommittee. Thank you to the Racebox team. Thank you to the Fishing Subcommittee. Thank you to the General Committee. And thank you to Cowes Corinthian Yacht Club, who fielded their racing fleet on Thursdays and Sundays. But most of all, thank you to the members who made the most of trying circumstances and managed to participate in their sports. As for the future, we have sailing, fishing and cruising programmes already in place for next year. They will be published in the autumn newsletter. So it's goodbye for now.
Hi, I'd also like to add my thanks on behalf of all the competitors to the Racebox team for the superb race management during 2020, widely regarded as having provided the best courses and racing this year. In order to maintain the quality of racing, the team would also like to welcome anyone who would like to assist, and in order to share the workload, we may well invite different boats to offer a crew member during the 2021 season, help plan and run an evening or Sunday race. Please get in touch by email or through the WhatsApp group if you have any thoughts on this. Again, thanks to the race team for a job well done, and here's hoping we get back to more normal racing next year.